SPORE is a game that has seemingly been forgotten to time, because unlike other games that came out around this time in 2008, it was not exactly well received upon its initial release, and there was many errors and bugs and other things like that got in the way of giving it the respect that it definitely deserves. Because after 15 years now, I still chime back to my 15-year-old Steam account to keep playing it constantly, over and over again. I can't help myself. The entire gameplay, if you do it without dying and without fault, usually takes around 4 hours. But on top of that, the whole idea of getting to build a creature from the cell stage to a creature stage to an evolution where it gains some intelligence, starts a tribe, then goes on to civilization, and then in the space stage, is one of the most fun experiences I think I've ever had playing a video game. And it's definitely something that I could keep playing over and over again. And upon the release of many other YouTubers who started doing SPORE icebergs relating to either missing content, cut stages, or overall mysteries and conspiracy theories surrounding the gameplay and the lore of the game. Unlike normal iceberg videos that go one stage at a time, I decided to pick apart some things that I find interesting, and we're going to dive deep into the darker and more cringy aspects of SPORE media, whether it be creatures that were made by either developers or even users, or just all around weird stuff about this game. So sit back, relax, and let's go over some of the weird and cringy parts of SPORE. SPorn. Alright, let's get this one out of the way, because I know people are hoping for this kind of shit. SPorn is not another way of saying I like to watch SpongeBob. It is basically creatures made by other users that are meant to look like acts of deviancy, or certain eye-catching body parts that usually have a black rectangle in front of them to censor them so they can be shown on television. And what was worse is if you were logged in online so other users could see your creations and you were logged into the SPORE website, sometimes their own creations would appear in your worlds, and nothing is more revolting than getting attacked by a herd of killer penises with teeth. Being is a creature that you can encounter during the creature stage. It is created by the developers, or Maxis alone, and it is by far the most adorable little creature that you can ever come across. And there's this whole fandom surrounding Bean online, which I was unaware of up until making this video, because I find it strange how this one little single stage creature in the beginning of the creature stage has gotten so much attention across the world. He has his own dedicated fan base. But the other thing that's a bit darker about Bean is the fact that he will probably not survive evolution at all. Because of his body features, he has no way to really protect himself. He has the level 1 feet, he has no other limbs, he has a single proboscis, which means he's omnivorous. He can eat plants and he can eat meat at the same time. But other than that, he really has no way to protect himself, and in terms of Darwin, he will not survive. But he's still fucking adorable, just look at him. Manfaced Dog. Oh man. The only way I could describe this creation to you, because wholeheartedly, it comes from the mind of a genius. Straight from the mind of a genius, and straight from hell. Because this is one of the most unsettling looking creatures I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot, because there is a lot of people out there that make some pretty creepy shit on SPORE. And they're never like creepy to a real frightening and makes you shiver degree, but they're creepy and they look awesome. That's the whole point of them. But just look at it! Stare at it! It looks so sad. It looks like it wants to be killed. I don't know whether to feel bad or feel completely, just frightened out of my mind. This is one of the most uncanny creepy creations, and it has some real world lore, but I'll get into that later. This is the kind of subconscious fucking homunculus like demon that my mind would concoct in the middle of like sleep paralysis, where if I turn over on the other side of my bed during the paralysis, this thing is staring at me where it licks at my face and then proceeds to bite one of my eyeballs out. Sorry if I ruined your day with that thought, but that's what I think when I see this fucking thing. I apologize if I butchered his name. The creature is based off of Jinmenken, which is a cryptid of some sorts, or a Japanese urban legend, which roughly translates to human-faced dog. And it believes that these creatures are parts of either genetic experiments or is the ghost of a human who was struck by a car while walking their dog. That's a really weird twist of faith. Anyway, back to the video. Steve is the last human to ever exist. I picked this topic to wrap up this video because I find it the most interesting theory out of every other theory that is on SPORE or related to SPORE lore. SPORE. So, if you haven't played the game and you never completed it, spoilers. Not that it really matters, this is a 15-year-old game we're talking about. But anyway, when you complete the space stage and reach the middle of the galaxy, you are confronted by this weird, mysterious voice, and out pops this little flying saucer with a megaphone on it, and declares, a bit of facts here. Whatever language is spoken inside the game itself is usually complete gibberish, nonsense language. There's no English. Steve is the only entity that speaks English, which kind of gives you the inclination that maybe he's human, or maybe a highly intelligent being of some sort. He gives you the staff of life, which allows you to create life on any planet, or completely eradicate it. Essentially, a god staff, in a way. There's a conspiracy theory online that states he is probably the last human to ever be in existence. And you actually can find Earth in the game itself if you travel far enough into the galaxy. And Earth is a planet that is completely devoid of any life whatsoever. In fact, it looks like that all life went extinct on Earth in general. Either that, we have no idea what time period this is taken place in at all. So this could very well be well into the future, or it could be even before humans existed. There's a lot of theories running around on who Steve is, but I believe that he is probably the last human to ever exist. And that's why I left him as the last entry into this video. And that's it. That's my video on SPORE and some interesting aspects about it. Some cringe, some unsettling, and some incredibly interesting. If you have any other theories or maybe some aspects of SPORE that you want me to explore and maybe dig a little deeper with, I would be glad to do so. Just drop a recommendation down in the comments below. Other than that, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.